Dear colleague, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. For the last 12 days, Iranian drones and missiles have been striking innocent civilians and civilian targets in GCC countries and Jordan and elsewhere. This unprovoked aggression is a heinous crime. All our Air Force and air defense, due to their high readiness, have been successfully and collectively intercepting more than 954 Iranian missiles, more than 2,500 drones, and 17 aircrafts since 28 February. They continue to intercept them as we speak now. Bahrain, alongside with the all GCC countries and Jordan, have been actively engaging in various diplomatic efforts within the United Nations since the heinous attacks started to keep the international community abreast of development on the ground, and they draw attention to the dire consequences of the ongoing unlawful attacks against our countries. In particular, we convey to our colleague that the target in these attacks were not military locations. They were residential buildings and areas, food distribution facilities, airport, ports, energy installation, and critical civilian infrastructure. Moreover, we emphasize on the repercussion of disturbing the trade and maritime route on regional and international economy, affecting everyone. Yesterday, Bahrain, on behalf of the Gulf Cooperation countries and Jordan, has presented a draft resolution to the Security Council, which was put in blue yesterday around 2 p.m. The Council will take action today on the draft today, 3 p.m. The draft resolution has three main components. First, condemnation in the strongest terms of the Iran heinous attacks, which constitute a breach of international law and a serious threat to international peace and security, with the pressure on Iran to halt attacks on innocent civilians and urban targets. Second, demanding the cessation of hostilities by the Iran and the cessation of provocation by Iran, including the use of proxies. Third, deploring Iran's deliberate targeting of innocent civilians and civilians' objects, including critical infrastructure, such airports, energy installations, commercial venues, as well attacks and threats to the Strait of Hormuz and the entire global maritime layout. These demands echo the outcome of the GCC ministerial meeting, the most recent extraordinary ministerial meeting at the League of Arab States, and the communique of the GCC EU extraordinary ministerial meeting. We hope that the Security Council speak today in one voice in support of our inherent right to defend ourselves in the face of the unprovoked aggression as enshrined in the UN Charter. We have repeatedly called for dialogue and diplomacy, but this too cannot be achieved under the barrage of missiles and drones. Our draft resolution is open to co-sponsor from wide UN membership until the adoption meeting began later today. So we urge all UN member countries to swiftly co-sponsor via e-delegate. Thank you very much again, and now I give the floor to my colleague to say a few words. Please.
Dear members of the press, thank you for joining us today. I would like to, of course, reaffirm the statement made by Ambassador Jamal Fares Alrowaiei, Permanent Representative of the Kingdom of Bahrain, regarding the principled position of the Gulf Cooperation Council member states and Jordan, who are the primary co-sponsors of the draft resolution that will be considered this afternoon in the Council. We have tabled this resolution following the unprovoked and illegal attacks by the Islamic Republic of Iran on our countries, including the state of Qatar. These attacks, which we strongly condemned, is a flagrant violation of our national sovereignty, a direct assault on our security and the integrity of our territory, and an unacceptable escalation that threatens the security and stability of the region. I will not delve into the specifics of the resolution once more, but this draft addresses the fundamental principles of international law and the UN Charter, and the considerable number of co-sponsors from the wider UN membership highlights this reality. Consequently, we expect the Council to respond to this call in fulfilling its responsibilities with a clear demand that these attacks by Iran must cease immediately. I would like to put these attacks into perspective and share some facts. As of last night, the Islamic Republic of Iran has launched at the territory of the state of Qatar a total of 151 ballistic missiles, of which 140 were intercepted, a total of 9 cruise missiles, of which a number of were intercepted, a total of 111 drones, of which 91 were intercepted. No casualties have been reported, thanks to the vigilance and the defensive capabilities and the high level of readiness of the Qatari armed forces and air defense. Let us be clear, these attacks by the Islamic Republic of Iran have targeted our sovereign territory, endangered civilian populations, and caused damage to civilian infrastructure in the state of Qatar. These actions are a clear violation of international law and the UN Charter. The state of Qatar have been among the advocates for dialogue with the Islamic Republic of Iran as part of its overall policy for the importance of addressing differences and resolving disputes through peaceful means. However, the continued targeting of our territory by the Islamic Republic of Iran does not reflect good faith and impact deeply the foundation of understanding upon which bilateral relations between our countries have been built. We reiterate our strong condemnation of these attacks and reaffirm our right to respond in accordance with Article 51 of the UN Charter. And finally, our message today is simple and clear. The Security Council must act, fulfill its responsibility. Failure to respond would send a dangerous signal that attacks against uninvolved neighbors carry no consequences. Thank you.
Ambassador Al-Thani, Ambassador.
Good afternoon, everyone. In addition to what has been mentioned by my dear colleagues, I would like to share with you the following. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia reiterates its unwavering commitment to resolving regional disputes through dialogue and constructive engagement consistent with its long-standing policy promoting security, stability, and peace. This commitment was clearly reflected in several occasions, including during the telephone conversation between His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz and the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran in January 27, 2026, in which His Royal Highness affirmed that the kingdom would not permit its airspace or territory to be used for any military action against Iran. Despite these assurances and the kingdom's continued pursuit to de-escalation, Iran has carried out multiple attacks targeting the kingdom, all of which were successfully intercepted. The kingdom views these actions as a dangerous and unjustified escalation that risks severe consequences for regional stability. Such conduct doesn't align with the principle of good neighborliness, nor doesn't it serve the interests of peace. The kingdom emphasized that the continuation of these hostile acts undermines efforts to reduce tensions. The kingdom also stressed that Iran's current action toward the kingdom neither reflect wisdom nor contribute to de-escalation and risk leaving Iran to bear the greatest consequences. I thank you.
Thank
Good afternoon, everyone. The United Arab Emirates stands in complete solidarity with our colleagues from the GCC and Jordan. I'd like to focus my brief remarks on Iran's continued unlawful and unprovoked attacks against my country. Over the past 12 days, Iran has launched 270 missiles and nearly 1,500 drones towards the UAE. They have deliberately targeted civilians and civilian infrastructure, including commercial ports and airports, as well as residential neighborhoods. Iran's attacks have resulted in 6 fatalities and over 120 injuries to people from 25 different nationalities. Through its indiscriminate strikes, Iran has sought to spread terror among our community, but our people have defied them, enduring the attacks with remarkable resilience and unity. The UAE's leadership has made clear that its priority is the safety and security of every individual in the country, whether a citizen, a resident, or visitor. Our air defense forces have intercepted and neutralized incoming threats with extraordinary efficiency, protecting lives and vital infrastructure. Without these capabilities, one can only imagine the damage and loss of lives that would have resulted from Iran's reckless and unlawful attacks. Simply put, the UAE does not want this conflict. In fact, we worked in good faith to avoid it. We have consistently called for de-escalation and dialogue, and were crystal clear that our land, airspace, and territorial waters would not be used to attack Iran. But Iran chose to attack us anyway. Still, the UAE does not seek escalation, but have no doubt that we will take all necessary measures to safeguard our sovereignty, national security, and territorial integrity, and ensure the safety of our citizens and residents in accordance with international law and the UN Charter. So today we expect the Security Council to act decisively when it considers the resolution before it, and to address this critical threat to international peace and security. Let me end with a message to our enemies. No force of hate or extremism will ever change the UAE's model of tolerance and peaceful coexistence, or our positive vision for the future. Try as they might, however many missiles they fire, they will not succeed. We will robustly defend the present while continuing to define the future. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I thank members of the press for being with us today. And I thank my colleagues for laying out the situation as it is. I will briefly highlight the situation from Kuwait's perspective. Since the 28th of February, the state of Kuwait has been directly targeted by 237 ballistic missiles and 467 unmanned aerial vehicles launched by the Islamic Republic of Iran, striking civilian areas, critical infrastructure, including Kuwait's international airport, public institutions, and diplomatic premises. These attacks tragically resulted in 5 fatalities, including an 11-year-old child, as well as over 100 injuries. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the deceased and those injured, and our authorities continue to follow up on the situation. Kuwait categorically rejects the misleading allegations circulated by Iran at the United Nations, suggesting that Kuwaiti territory was used to launch attacks against Iran. Let me reiterate clearly. Kuwait has not allowed and will not allow its territory or airspace to be used for hostile actions against any state. It has been a long-standing policy of the state of Kuwait. These attacks represent a serious violation of Kuwait's sovereignty and clear breach of Article 2.4 of the United Nations Charter. Kuwait looks to the Security Council to uphold its responsibility in maintaining international peace and security and to ensure that these attacks against our countries are clearly addressed. Our sovereignty and territorial integrity are red lines. The safety and security of our citizens and everybody living in our territory are red lines. We will do our utmost to protect everybody living in Kuwait, as all my colleagues have said and done on their territories. The Security Council needs to act decisively, and needs to pronounce itself on this egregious attack by Iran on our territories. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the outpouring of support from member states in this body and from the international community at large for showing solidarity with our people, with our countries, and reiterate our rights to defend ourselves to the best of our ability. And I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. I join my colleagues in every single word of what they have said. Just adding the following: this is a very focused endeavor, a focused joint endeavor by us all, confronting unjustified, unfounded, and unlawful attacks. We look and expect the Council to react to our measure positively, and in this regard, thank the overwhelming support and solidarity that we have witnessed from the members of this Council and from the larger membership of the United Nations. Our countries have worked diligently for de-escalation and dialogue before and are still doing so. Thank you so much.
Ambassador,
Thank you very
can
much.
we ask a question? I just,
Thank you. We have questions.